स्वाध्याय टीवी डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaste students, I Dr. Himanshu Patel welcome you from the Chaitanya studio of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. We are in lecture series on mobile application development in Android. Today we continue our last session, which is a location based services, but before that we summarize first lecture of location based services. In last session we have learned how to leverage location based services available within the Android SDK, determine the location of the handset using a built-in global positioning system unit, and translate row location coordinates into descriptive location names and do the reverse. Today we learn how to create a Google Map project in Android Studio, how to get a Google Map API key for distributing your project, how to use support fragment for displaying map fragments, and use fragment activity for displaying maps, and finally we see how to add marker on Google Map at specified locations. So, let us start with creating Android Studio project for Google Map. The steps for creating Google Map project in Android Studios are shown on screen. First, you have to start Android Studio. As we know, it first displays welcome screen. So, from there you have to select start a new Android Studio project and enter your application name, company domain and project location as prompted, and then you have to click next. Then you have to select phone and tablet and then select next button. Now, instead of creating blank activity, here we select Google Map activity and then click next. Finally, we use default values and then press finish. So, these 6 steps you have to follow for creating Google Map project in Android Studio. Now, once you created your project, you must distribute that project on Play Store or any other users. So, for that you require a Google Map key. Now, how to get this Google Map key? Here we see how to get a map API key for distributing your application. First, you have to open this URL shown on screen, and if you follow a mouse pointer, you can see here you have to type URL and this screen will be displayed. Here first you have to sign in, which is shown in a red oval. So, you have to sign in first for getting key. Once you sign in, here you have to press this red oval button with caption get a key. When you press this button, it will open this dialog box and here you have to select continue. So, when you press continue, this screen is shown where there are two options. First, either you have to sign up for a free trial, or if you have a Google developer registration, then you have to press this continue button. So, if you press this sign up for a free trial, it will ask you necessary information and then proceed, but here I have Google developer registration. So, I can press this button. Now, next here we have to press continue button. Once you press this continue button, this screen is shown. Here you have to press this create button for getting your Android API key, and once this process is finished, this API is shown in this dialog box. So, you have to copy this API key for distribution and you have to use this key in your project, and when you press OK button, your process finished. So, these are the steps for getting Google API key. Now, when you create this Google Map project in Android Studio, it use support map fragments for displaying your map. So, support map fragment is a map component in your application, and it is the simplest way to place a map in application. Here we place fragment object for displaying map. So, it is a wrapper around a view of May to automatically handle the necessary life cycle needed, and being a fragment, these component can be added to an activities layout file with the XML as usual. So, this is all about support map fragment. Now, next is a fragment activity. So, like normal activity, fragment activity is used with the support based fragment. Fragment activity use fragment. In normal activity, we can find layout using find view by ID method, but here you can find fragment using the get support fragment manager method to access those features. Now, how to do this? Here on screen you can see that we have a Google Map object with name mmap, and we can write down mmap is equal to support map fragment, and then you have to create instance of support fragment manager using get support fragment manager method, and you can once you have this manager available, you can find fragment by its ID given in your XML file. Here it is a r.id.map, and then you have to call get map method of these fragment. So, this is how we can get map from fragment. Now, once your map is get, you can put marker on this map. So, to add a marker, we have to use add marker method, and marker indicates single location on the map, and we can customize markers by changing the default color, or we can replace the marker icon with a customized image, and on screen you can see the code required to add marker. So, here mmap is an object of type Google Map, and you have to call its method add marker, and inside add marker you have to specify marker position. So, we write down new marker position, and once this marker position available, we can call its position method, and inside position we can specify latitude and longitude for our place, and you can also specify title. Here the title is a marker and latitude longitude are 0 0 respectively. So, this is how we can add marker in our Google Map. So, how to display map in your application? There are two ways as we discussed in last session. First, you can call inbuilt Google Map application using intent, and either you can use Google Map embedded within your application to display the map location as described in previous slides. So, today we write down one program which displays map at a specified position on your Google Map, so that you can visualize that place, and we place marker at that position, so that we can easily identify it on a map. So, this is our screenshot for application. Here you can see that in first figure we have placed marker at 0 0 longitude and latitude, and here we place marker at Ahmedabad, Gujarat in India. So, this is how our application output works. But before we write down these application, you have to remember those steps discussed earlier to add Google Map in Android Studio project. So, let us start. So, here we write down one application for displaying Google Map. How to create these project we discussed in theory. So, when you create this project, it will add one activity. So, here is our one activity is added by project, which is a maps activity. So, here you can see maps activity, and it also add one layout file for you. So, here is a layout file which is a activity underscore maps.xml file. So, here it is a only one control map of type fragment is there, and if you look at its text, you can see it is a fragment. So, these layout file is automatically created for you, and these activity file is also created for you by Android Studio. Now, remember here name of our activity is maps activity and it extends fragment activity and not a normal activity or action bar activity. Now, before we understand these, I have created another activity for using in program, which is a main activity, and its XML file is activity underscore main dot XML file. So, first we understand these interface. Here it is very similar to previous program. Here we have to enter our location, and when user press this show map button, we will launch our maps activity and pass these longitude and latitude of these location to our maps activity, and when user press this launch maps application, we will start inbuilt maps application installed on your phone. You can download that application from Google Play Store. So, these interface, there are two buttons, first launch our maps activity and another launch our inbuilt application. So, first we understand these main activity file. So, we go to main activity.java file. These are the two buttons that is available in design time. This is a edit text. So, here we set our content view and then we take reference of two buttons in design time, and whenever second button is click, we write down these code. Now, here I have used fixed longitude and latitude for displaying on map. So, here I created one string with name GeoURI and its format is geo colon and then latitude and longitude. So, this is a latitude and this is a longitude for Ahmedabad in Gujarat state of India. So, these GeoURI represents URI of our city Ahmedabad, and then I created one URI from this URI string using URI.parse method of URI class, and then we create intent with generic action view and pass this intent to this application, and finally we start this intent using start activity method. So, it will launch your inbuilt Google Map application. So, this is how we can launch inbuilt maps application available from Play Store. Now, when second button is pressed, we first convert our place into longitude and latitude using geocoder object. So, this geocoder object instance is created, then we take name from edit text, and finally, we call get from location name method of geocoder discussed earlier, and here is the name of place, and here we want to retrieve only one result. In last example, we take 3 results. So, as discussed earlier, this is a iterator object which iterates through this list object, and if iterator dot has next, instead of while loop, here I use if condition because we have only one results. So, if result is available, we get it in location object of type address, and we can get latitude and longitude using its get latitude and get longitude method. Now, once we have longitude and latitude for given place is available, we can launch our main maps activity using intent. So, here I write down intent is equal to new intent, and first argument is a context and second argument is the name of activity. So, in our case this is a maps activity added by our project, and finally we pass these three information, which is a latitude, longitude and name of given place in these activity, and then we launch start activity using specified intent. And if our longitude and latitude are not found, then it displays message that location not found, and if something goes wrong, then inside catch block we display that error message. So, this is all about main activity.java file, and as discussed it is used to either launch inbuilt maps application or our maps application. Now, we discussed permission required to run this program. So, here are the different types of permission that is required in order to run this program. First is internet, another is access network status, then write into external storage device, then read GS services, and to access course location and find location using GPS. So, these are the permission required for running this application. Now, before we understand further code in manifest, we have to understand these maps activity.java file, which use these activity underscore maps.xml file with fragment as a control. So, here is our maps activity file. So, here these object is automatically declared by these maps activity, but these three refers to latitude, longitude and name of place is written by me. So, these three additional variable you should declare. Now, here we set content view using set content view method, and its name is activity underscore maps.xml file. So, we write down its ID, then we create one intent to get those data which is latitude, longitude and place. So, here in latitude I call get double extra method, and name of key is a latitude and value default value is 00. If it is not available, it returns 00, and in longitude we get longitude and its default value is again 00, and in place we get location passed before calling this activity. So, this is how we acquire data set in main activity. Here you can see, here we use put extra for storing this information, and inside maps activity we use get method for getting these three data. So, this is how we can retrieve latitude, longitude and place sent by main activity. Now, here this method is automatically write by maps activity when you create maps activity. So, here this method is automatically written for you, set up map if needed, and if you see here set up map if needed, in these we write down if map is equal to null, then we have to create map. So, here it write downs mmap is equal to get support fragment manager, and then it finds fragment by ID. So, our ID is a map. So, here it is write down r dot id dot map, and from fragment it gets map. So, this is how you can get Google map represented by fragment, and if it is not null, then we have to display location. So, here another method is there, which is a setup map. So, inside setup map we just add marker at specified position. So, these we have already discussed that it is a method add marker which actually adds marker, and here we write down new marker options and then we specify marker position using longitude and latitude received from main activity, and we also set its title to given place using title method. So, when you run this program, first we run main activity file. So, here we ask from user location, and when this show map button is pressed, this maps activity launch and it displays map using fragment, and we place marker at a longitude and latitude specified in main activity, and we also set its title to place name. So, this is how maps activity works. Now, we want to specify our API key acquired. So, here inside values we have a string.xml file. Now, you cannot see API key here. So, what you have to do is you have to right click on this string.xml file and then open its editor. So, if I open this editor, you can see that a string with name Google underscore map underscore key is automatically added, and its value should be equal to our API key acquired in from developer console. So, here you have to copy your API key for distributing your application. Now, if we look at it manifest file, here one metadata tag is there, and here in value you have to use same API key which is represented by Google underscore map underscore key. So, here you have to specify that key also. So, this is how our entire code works. You have to create maps activity, you have to create this main activity, and you have to create interface for main activity. This interface is already created when you add maps activity, and you have to add your permissions in manifest file and your Google API in this string.xml file. If it cannot be displayed, you have to open editor for adding this key, and then you can run your application. Now, I want to test this application on my phone. So, I am connecting my phone with my computer and press this run app button. So, here it starts installing my application on phone. Here on screen you can see our application is running, and initially main activity is running, and when I press show map button, it will start maps activity which is added to our application, and when I press launch maps application button, it will try to launch inbuilt maps application installed on Google Play Store. So, here I am type one city name which is Ahmedabad, and I press show map button. So, you can see it displays maps inside fragment, and our city name is marked with marker, and if you click on marker, it also shows the place name that we have typed in text in, and you can zoom this fragment by double clicking on it. So, this is how we can display map inside our application. Now, second, we try to run or find place on Google Maps application, which is downloaded from Play Store. So, here I am going back to my original activity and I press launch maps app. So, as you can see on the screen, it will open maps application. So, here you can see that our required location is displayed on inbuilt Google Maps application, and you can use all the features available in Google Maps for doing whatever you want on maps. Today we have learned how to add maps activity in your project and how to use support map fragment for displaying Google Map and how to use fragment activity with support map fragment. We also display marker at specified location on Google Map, and we have learned step for acquiring Google Maps API key for distributing your application on Google Play Store. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परमं तपः।
स्वाध्याय टीवी